Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Justin Timberlake.
I'm bringing sexy back.
The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedExForum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at LiveNation.com. The brand new single, Selfish, is available to stream and download now.
So if I get jealous, I can't help it.
For more, hit up JustinTimberlake.com.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedExForum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right. I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish. I'm speaking to you from the Built Ford Tough studio, FedExForum, downtown Memphis. Bennett Doyle producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope you're ready for whatever it is we're going to watch on Netflix tonight. I don't know what to expect, but it's going to be the biggest sporting event in the world tonight. Mike Tyson, Jake Paul inside AT&T Stadium in Texas. We'll talk about it momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. In the next segment, about 20 minutes from now, Brian Campbell is going to join me. He covers boxing MMA for CBS Sports. Also co-host of Morning Combat, which is a MMA boxing podcast. You can find anywhere you find podcasts, including Apple and Spotify. Brian's been talking about the fight all week. He'll join me in the next segment. He'll help us get ready for it. When I finish talking to Brian Campbell, we'll take a break, come back, do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we're going to discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories. Among them, the Grizzlies going to return to the court tonight in San Francisco, playing Steph Curry and the Warriors on national television. Injury report starting to look a little better. We'll get you ready for that in about 40 minutes. Penny Hardaway's Tigers will also be in action tonight. Ohio is in town. Memphis favored by double digits. We'll spend some time on that a little later on in the show. Conan O'Brien has been named the next host of the Oscars. He will replace Jimmy Kimmel. Get Bennett's thoughts on that. We'll do it in the third segment. The Boston Red Sox have entered the Juan Soto sweepstakes. Give you the latest on that situation in the second hour. And the big college football game of the weekend scheduled for tomorrow night down in Athens, Georgia. Tennessee, Georgia. We'll spend a few minutes on it during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. And then we'll eventually do GP's carryout and we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. Got a lot to get to. But I did want to start with the biggest sporting event in the world tonight, crazy as it might sound. It's a boxing icon, 58-year-old Mike Tyson against content creator, 27-year-old Jake Paul, live from AT&T Stadium down in Irving, Texas. The crowd is expected to surpass the 65,000 mark. Tens of millions of people are expected to stream the fight on Netflix. Big Bet Bennett, the main card is going to air starting at 7 o'clock. At our house, we ordering food, pouring drinks, turning up. Are you ready for whatever this is going to be later tonight?
I'm fired up. I'm in, dude. Like I think like last night with the video, you know, the slap and the weigh-ins and all that got me excited. I still kind of, when this was first announced and we talked about it, you know, months ago, I guess years ago with this, where it was
originally scheduled for July,
Yeah.
got postponed because Mike had a medical emergency on a plane.
Right.
So here we are.
Yeah. I always thought it was a bit of a farce, I guess.
It might be.
And it might very well be. But now that it's here and it's on Netflix and I get to watch for free tonight, it's Friday night, like I'm all in. I think everybody else is too. I think the majority of people have talked themselves into this thing.
I'm all in. Like we last night sat down and watched the Netflix 3-part docuseries leading up to the fight. Every episode was like 35 to 40 minutes. So it's not a hard watch. And it was fun. Like it'll get you ready for the fight. It'll get you excited about what's to come. And then I had my little guys and we just jumped on YouTube and we watched Mike Tyson, Michael Spinks, Mike Tyson's greatest knockouts. And so like now my little guys are fired up for it. We're going to.
Like I'm super nostalgic about, you know, I was born in 86. And so obviously I'm like very nostalgic about like the late 80s, early 90s. And so like he's this massive figure from that era. Like it's like Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, Mike Tyson.
It really is that.
You know what I mean?
He is that level guy.
Yeah.
He, and maybe in his own way, was even bigger because of all the chaos and everything that accompanied his rise to stardom. He is a larger-than-life figure for people of my generation, and that's why so many of us will watch this with conflicted thoughts tonight. Yeah. On one hand, I don't think 58-year-olds should be in a boxing ring, especially not against 27-year-olds. On the other hand, it's Iron Mike Tyson walking into a boxing ring, so we'll see how it goes. It will be Tyson's first time in an official fight, sanctioned fight, in 19 years. His last official boxing match was actually June 11th, 2005. It was against Kevin McBride in Washington, D.C., and Tyson lost it. Didn't get off his stool after the 6th round. Quit on the stool. And after beating Mike Tyson that night, Kevin McBride went 2-7 the rest of his career. So that's the caliber of fighter who ended Iron Mike Tyson's professional boxing career 20 years after it began. And when it began, of course, 1985, mid-'80s, it started with a first-round TKO of a guy named Hector Mercedes. So Mike Tyson's boxing career didn't end well 19 years ago, but the beginning of it was unlike anything we've ever seen, and I'm skeptical we'll ever see anything like it again. Starts in 1985, knocks out Hector Mercedes, and that one only took 1 minute 47 seconds, and it was a sign of things to come. And if you'll indulge me for a minute or so, let me walk you through Mike Tyson's career, because I think, this is why I sat down with my little guys last night, to properly appreciate tonight's moment, whatever it is and whatever it will be, it's important to understand who it is that's going to be in the ring across from Jake Paul. So let me run you through it. After knocking out Hector Mercedes, Mike Tyson knocked out his next 18 opponents to start his professional boxing career 19-0. He fought every month for a year straight, sometimes twice in the same month, to start his career 19-0 with 19 knockouts, 12 of which were first-round knockouts. The first man to ever even take him the distance in a fight was James Tillis. That happened in May 1986, and still Tyson won that by unanimous decision. And he was 27-0 with 25 knockouts when he got his first title shot. That was against Trevor Berbick. And Trevor Berbick at the time was the WBC champ. As expected, Mike Tyson knocked him out. This one happened in the second round. And in that moment, he became the youngest heavyweight champion in history at the age of 20 years and 145 days. Think about that for a second. When you hear about a 20-year-old being awesome in baseball or basketball or football, you're like, what? This makes no sense. This guy was the best fighter in the world at the age of 20.
Crazy.
Youngest heavyweight champion of all time. 4 months after that, he added the WBA title with a win over James Smith. 5 months after that, added the IBF title with a win over Tony Tucker. And then on June 27th, 1988, in his biggest fight to date, it was 35-0 Mike Tyson against 31-0 Michael Spinks inside the convention hall in Atlantic City. I was 11 years old when that happened, and I remember it clearly. Huge event, stars everywhere. Went back and watched it last night with both fighters in the ring. Just sort of surreal to go back and watch this. You get both fighters in the ring, Michael Spinks in one corner, Mike Tyson in the other. And there were 2 other men in the ring who were introduced to the crowd. One was former heavyweight champion, the greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali. And the other was a 42-year-old entrepreneur named Donald J. Trump.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I suppose on some level that should have been a sign of things to come. Either way, Mike Tyson knocks out Michael Spinks in 91 seconds that night. And there is no point. It's just sort of interesting, the things that stay with you. There is no point in my life in the past 36 years, regardless of whether I was sober or not sober, wide awake or half asleep, there is no point in my life in the past 36 years where I could not have told you how long it took Mike Tyson to knock out Michael Spinks in 1988. 1:31, 91 seconds. The joke was that back then people had spent thousands of dollars to attend this fight.
Oh, yeah, right.
And it was over in 91 seconds. And at that point, at the age of 21, Mike Tyson was undeniably the most famous athlete in the world, one of the biggest figures in the world. In 1988, that's when Mike Tyson's Punch-Out came out on the Nintendo Entertainment System that we all owned. It sold more than 2 million copies. The only other game to do that year was The Legend of Zelda.
Oh, that checks. It was a great game.
Great game.
Zelda was a great game.
Great game.
Yeah.
The first time you burned that bush.
The gold, yes. What do you call cartridge? The golden cartridge. Yeah, it's amazing.
The first time you burned that bush, buddy.
Yeah, man.
That was a moment. You know how everybody knows, like now, Madden, because it's a super big video game?
Mm-hmm.
Like just everybody knows Madden. You can just say that and everybody knows what you're talking about. Imagine if the Madden game was this big while John Madden was also the biggest sports figure in the world. That was Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. That was the life Mike Tyson was living in 1988. And as you probably know, he wasn't equipped to handle it well. He married an actress named Robin Givens. That marriage was privately and publicly a disaster with allegations of abuse. It didn't even last 2 years. And so less than 2 years after knocking out Michael Spinks in 91 seconds, Mike Tyson's career was spiraling. His personal life was spiraling. His professional life was spiraling. And he went to Tokyo to fight a nobody fighter named James Buster Douglas, and he got knocked out. And that was the beginning of the end. 17 months after that, he was arrested, charged with rape. In February 1992, he was convicted and sentenced to 6 years in prison. He was released on parole after 3 years. And his first fight after that was August 95 as against Peter McNeely. That lasted 89 seconds and did $63 million worth of pay-per-view buys.
Damn.
After that, Mike Tyson beat Buster Mathis, Frank Bruno, Bruce Seldon. Improved to 45-1. He regained the WBC and WBA heavyweight titles. But those 3 years away, most knew. It was 3 years in prison, 4 years away from the ring. So 4 years away from boxing. Most understood that it had just taken a toll. And he kind of looked the same, and he was still knocking people out, but he wasn't the same fighter. Mm-hmm. So he's 45-1. He's got 2 belts. And that's when you get the back-to-back fights with Evander Holyfield. Mike got beat up in the first, lost, and then disqualified in the second after famously biting part of Evander Holyfield's ear off. That was a wild night. And then his next really big fight after that was the one that happened here in downtown Memphis against Lennox Lewis. He lost that one, 8th round knockout. 3 fights after that, he was in the ring with Kevin McBride to circle back to June 11, 2005. He was, at that time, 38 years old. So there we have Mike Tyson, 38 years old in D.C., fighting a nobody fighter. And he's just getting hit over and over again. And then he went to his corner after the 6th round and opted out of the fight between rounds. He quit on the stool. Just go back to 1988. You can't ever imagine Mike Tyson quitting on the stool or Mike Tyson even ever needing a stool. And then here he was 20 years after his career started. He's on a stool. He's been defeated again. And then he reflected on the night and everything with Jim Gray. Minutes after it was over, his career record is now 50-6. He's got too many accolades to name. He's got a complicated legacy. He's in the ring with Jim Gray. And he gave one of the saddest off-the-cuff retirement announcements in history. Before we watch it, I want you to remind yourself that 21-year-old Mike Tyson was the baddest man on the planet. That's what people called him. Youngest champion ever. Most famous athlete in the world. But 17 years later, at the age of 38, he's a shell of himself, a defeated man who had lost his passion for fighting. Here is Mike Tyson and Jim Gray immediately after Tyson's last official boxing match before the one he will participate in tonight.
Mike, first let's start with you. Did you want to continue?
Well, I would like to continue, but I saw that I was getting beat on. I realized I don't think I have it anymore because I got the ability to stay in shape, but I don't got the fighting guts, I don't think, anymore.
When did you recognize that? At what part of the fight?
I don't know. Early into the fight. I'm just sorry I let everybody down. I just don't have this in my heart anymore.
Did you feel as though you had it coming into the fight?
No, I'm just fighting to take care of my bills, basically. I don't have the stomach for this kind of no more. I'm more conscious of my children and those guys looking at my parents. I don't have that ferocity. I'm not an animal anymore.
Does that mean we won't see you fight again?
Yeah, that's most likely. I'm not going to fight again. I'm not going to disrespect the sport anymore by losing to this caliber of fighters.
Mike, a lot of people wonder what you'll do now with your life. Boxing has been your whole life.
Well, I'm sure I'll find something to do. Boxing doesn't define me. I'm just sorry to disappoint the people in the city. I know I didn't have it in my stomach no more, but I was in dire needs to take care of my life. I'm just being honest. I'm not taking nothing away from Kevin. I don't love this no more. I'm just in here. I don't love this no more. I even love fighting since 1990. But Kevin, congratulations on your career and good luck. I wish you the best and make a lot of money.
On one hand, it was nice to see somebody who had been such a ferocious and unstable figure, like sort of calm and reserved, and I don't have the stomach for this anymore. I don't love this anymore. I'm not a monster anymore. Coming from a guy who used to, in many ways, be a monster, to hear him sort of say, I don't need this anymore, and I don't love it anymore, and I can't do it anymore. On one hand, it's like, all right, that's encouraging because he seems to have more to him than just being Iron Mike Tyson. On the other hand, that was sad. It felt like he was ashamed, embarrassed a little bit, but more than that, just brutally honest.
Yeah,
I had bills to pay. That's why I'm here. I can stay in shape. I can look the right way. But that stuff that made me what I was, it ain't in here anymore. And so I can't do that anymore. That was a man coming to terms with what age does to all of us. And yet 19 years later, here we are.
Yeah.
He's going to box tonight at the age of 58. Is this good or bad, awesome or sad? How should we feel? And I'm going to ask Brian Campbell this same question in the next segment. How should we feel about this? On one hand, I am excited to watch Iron Mike Tyson walk into a boxing ring, and I appreciate spectacles and big events, big live events. And so I'm looking forward to this. On the other hand, I will genuinely not feel okay if I watch 58-year-old Mike Tyson, this larger-than-life figure from my childhood, get beat up. It's one thing to watch an old basketball player go out there and miss shots. It's another thing to watch an old baseball player go out there and fumble a ground ball. This ain't that. If you can't hold your own in a boxing ring, you don't miss a ground ball. You don't miss a three-pointer. You get beat up. I don't want to watch Mike Tyson get beat up. That would be sad. But I do want to watch whatever's going to happen tonight. So I don't know exactly how to feel with it. I'm a little conflicted.
I think that you just got to take it for what it is. He even said in that clip that we watched, like, I'm doing this for the money. And like, dude, we don't have to lie to ourselves. He's getting a massive payday to do this.
Somewhere between 20 and 40 million.
Yeah.
But what we also should point out is that by all accounts, this is not a money grab for him. He will make a lot of money, but he has an incredible cannabis business now.
That's right. He makes his, he does well.
Mike Tyson is not broke.
That's right. But I mean, it's also, I think that if you're Mike Tyson, you can, obviously you've probably had to get talked into this. It's Netflix. The whole world's going to be able to watch. Like, you're going to have a massive audience right off the front end. And I think that, like, Mike Tyson probably recognizes what a big deal Jake Paul is now. I'm sure people were able to convince him of that. I just think that it's you take it for what it is. Like, he's 58 years old, but it's also like a chance to just get back in the spotlight, which is something he had done for so many years. I think that's probably something that you miss if you're Mike Tyson.
Perhaps. But I think there's a reason we don't normally see 58-year-olds in boxing rings with 27-year-olds. And it's because this is not supposed to happen. And this is a sport where people do get seriously hurt. You can be old on a basketball court and maybe tear your Achilles, and that stinks. But this is a sport where people really get hurt.
Yeah. I don't think Jake Paul will seriously hurt him. As in, I think Jake Paul is very appreciative of what Mike Tyson is doing for him. I don't think...
Yeah, when you're in a fight, you fight.
I got you.
To your point, what I could see happening is the refs are getting there. The refs gets in there quick. Like, they'll if it gets...
ugly.
And you might see it... Boxing is a sport where... I guess this sometimes happens in basketball, and I guess it sometimes happens in all sports to different degrees. But sometimes you can talk about it and think about it and analyze it. But then once you see it, it's like, okay, I see it. Like, you ever seen two comparable, at least in theory, football teams, and you talk about it all week, you think about it all week, you analyze it all week, and then they get on the field and you're looking at it and you're just like, oh, they're just bigger.
Yeah,
they're just stronger. They're just faster. In basketball, I remember Gonzaga-Baylor. Most people had convinced themselves Gonzaga was about to be an undefeated national champion. And when they got on the court, it was pretty clear Baylor was just a little too athletic, a little too ferocious, a little too everything for them. It's like it didn't matter what you thought going into it. Once you saw it, it was like, oh, this is too much for them. They can't deal with this. Same thing in boxing. And it happens, I think, in boxing more than others. You could talk about it a million different ways. Put them in a ring, give it a round or two, you can start to see it. People talk themselves into Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor.
Right.
Hey, maybe if McGregor lands one shot. As soon as the fight started, about 2 rounds into it, crystal clear. He can't land one shot. He will not hit this guy. He can't touch him. No matter what you thought leading up to it, we're watching it now. He can't touch him. So tonight, I don't know what to expect.
I know. It's kind of the fun of it.
And on some level, like, Mike Tyson could obviously just land one big punch and knock this dude out cold, like sleep him in the ring. Mike Tyson could also get in there, and you ready? Look 58 years old.
Yeah.
You get hit one time at 58. That's different than getting hit when you're 28. Keep in mind, this is a guy who barely got hit in his 20s anyway.
Right.
But you can absorb stuff when you're 20 that you can't absorb when you're 58. I have no idea what to expect. For what it's worth, in the betting markets, Jake Paul is listed as a favorite. So if it goes the way it's supposed to go, Jake Paul should have his hand raised tonight in that ring. But I don't know. I really don't know what to expect. And I've seen smart boxing people, Brian Campbell, Wallace Matthews, smart boxing people have completely opposite opinions about this fight. Everybody seems to give Mike a puncher's chance because he's a puncher.
Mm-hmm.
But there are other people who say, look, don't make it too complicated. Jake Paul's not a top 10 fighter, but he's a legitimate boxer, and he's 27 years old. And you can't put a 58-year-old in there with a 27-year-old and expect good things to happen. Like Nolan Ryan is amazing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you put Nolan Ryan in AutoZone Park tomorrow against the Redbirds, he'd get lit up.
Right.
Right? By a AAA baseball team, he would get lit up. 58 years old is I don't know you know what it feels like to really be 58 years old as a boxer until you're really in a boxing ring with a 27-year-old. And that could be what we watch tonight. Just age play a role. Before we get to Brian Campbell, let me ask a question for you.
Mm.
Why do we love Mike Tyson? In any other aspect of life, this should be somebody we all despise.
Yeah.
Why do we love him?
I just think that we, as sports fans, love great athletes. I think that's pretty universal. If you're a great athlete, then yeah, or one of the all-time greats, like you're gonna have a ton of people that love you, no matter what you've done.
Is it really no matter what you've done?
Because who's someone that everybody like? Who's someone that everybody that was? OJ, right? Okay, that's
the top of the list.
That's the top of the list,
yeah.
Right? Because he like allegedly murdered someone. Allegedly. But outside of him, like, who is an athlete that was incredible that people universally just hate?
Lance Armstrong?
I think people thought he was I don't think people hate him. I think he just like got exposed.
He's not popular. People do not love Lance Armstrong. If Lance Armstrong was like,
would people boo him and throw stuff at him? I don't think so.
Maybe not, but I don't think people like hey, Lance Armstrong's coming to town. Let's celebrate.
No, that's also cycling. Like that's different.
But he went from
he was big. Yes,
he was a yellow wristband.
That's right. Everybody, I had
you're
that
a scumbag.
Wristband. Yes,
he was yellow wristband to you're a scumbag. Here's my point about Mike Tyson. He is a convicted rapist. He is an admitted abuser. He, in many ways, wasted his talents. He has battled drug addiction. He was arrested like more than a dozen times before he was even an adult. On a lesser level, and I just think, I don't bring this up to make it political, I just bring it up to hammer home my point. Brittany Mahomes likes a Donald Trump tweet, and the world turns on her. At least part of the world, right? That happened. Mm-hmm. Brittany Mahomes went from like having to make it where you can't even reply to her stuff because she liked the Donald Trump tweet and people turned on her. Mike Tyson has very publicly supported Donald Trump. Nobody cares. Why do we love Mike Tyson? The guy I just described as somebody everybody should hate, and yet most of us don't. Why?
Because he's a larger-than-life figure. I think that's what it is. She's not.
Yeah.
She's the wife of a famous NFL quarterback.
But Kanye West was controversial, sure, but really popular, really famous, put on that red hat, and some people turned on him. Has anybody turned on Mike Tyson for that? Is there anybody who said, I love Mike Tyson, but not now? Because there are people who said, I love Kanye West, but not now. There are people who say, what's going on with Brittany Mahomes? That's a real thing in this country. But Mike Tyson's above it. It doesn't impact him at all. He could be convicted of rape, admit that he beat his wife, abuse drugs, waste his ability, put on a red hat, and everybody's just like, man, I love Mike Tyson. It's a weird thing.
Yeah, it's like I've mentioned Michael Jackson earlier. Like it's like people love his music. Still insanely popular, right? People love him. He had a lot of stuff that was very controversial out there.
I read about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying. Like, I think that when you reach this level of fame, that it does. You can get away with anything. Like, it doesn't really matter. I think people people love larger than life figures. That's what I think. Maybe that's the lesson. Yeah. I will say, Dan Wolken wrote an interesting column, USAtoday.com, that did draw parallels between our presidential election and this fight being a big deal. Like, they both fall under the same umbrella as spectacles. Like, in any sort of traditional way of thinking, Donald Trump should not be the president of the United States, and we should not be excited to watch a 58-year-old Mike Tyson fight a content creator. Like, this is not normal stuff, but it is normal American stuff now. This is This is a reflection of who we are. Like, it seems bananas in a vacuum that Hulk Hogan is ripping a shirt off at the Republican National Convention. This is all crazy, but we eat it up as a people. And tonight is just another example of that. This is silly. If you would have suggested something like this 30 years ago, 50 years ago, I'd been like, what? What are you even talking about? And yet tonight, 65,000 people are going to be in a football stadium, and millions of people are going to be streaming it, including you and I. Mm-hmm. What a country we live in. And I'm trying my hardest not to just hammer that Iron Mike money line. There's going to be a lot of us that get caught up in that. I am fighting against it because I feel like I know where this is going. But, man, it's like the devil on your show. It's like screaming at me. Like, every time I open the app and see that plus money, I'm just like, oh, my God. There's a famous story, and I'll mess up a few of the details, and then we'll get to Brian Campbell. But the way I remember the story is there's this boxing writer, boxing analyst, somebody like Brian Campbell, and he's at the arena somewhere like that for what ended up being Muhammad Ali's last fight. And at that point, it was already clear Muhammad Ali was a shell of himself. Like, he was already showing early signs of he's going to struggle the rest of his life. Mm-hmm. You know, that stuff, his speech had slowed. Yeah. His everything had slowed. He did not need to be in a boxing ring. And boxing people understood this. And this person meets, I want to say it was a janitor at the arena. And the janitor had like a ticket on Muhammad Ali. You know, had went down and, you know, $20 to win whatever, or $100 to win whatever, or $5 to win whatever it was. And as the story goes, the guy's like, but you saw had you been watching Muhammad Ali's last few fights? And had you seen him leading up to this fight? You know, he looked a little heavy and he was slow. Did you see all that? And the guy was like, yeah, of course. He said, then why would you put a bet on Muhammad Ali? You know what he said? It's Muhammad Ali, man. Yes. It's Muhammad Ali. It's the greatest of all time. Couldn't help myself. That's how I feel. That's where we're at tonight. I'm going to convince myself. I already know it. I'm going to convince myself. There's going to be a whole bunch of 40-year-old men. A few drinks. And they're walking out. Okay, let me get on that app. I'm ready. Let's go. I can be smart all day long. Get me 3 drinks and Iron Mike walk into the ring in a towel. I'm going to be trying to get a hold of that plus 200. Let's go. Mike Tyson, Jake Paul on Netflix tonight. Brian Campbell's been writing about it, talking about it all week. CBS Sports, CBSSports.com, CBS Sports HQ, Morning Combat Podcast. He's going to join me next. He'll help us get ready. Brian Campbell on the other side. Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South.
We have not talked to you since we got the big fella that's going to go next to you. What has impressed you about him, though? Just being on the same court with him, because you've watched him a lot at college. You got to see him. We got to see him very, very little in summer league.
Very quick twitch, like decision making. Yeah. No real fear of anything. Like, very vocal, able to talk through the game. But I mean, like, do win Player of the Year twice. Like, I know.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
There's no greater gift in the NBA right now than the gift of Ja Morant highlights. The highlight of Ja Morant going reverse 360 generated 161 million views in the first 24 hours.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizz, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals takes it straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rate.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item, whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedExForum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. The Grizzlies are in San Francisco tonight, going to face Steph Curry and the Warriors. Injury report starting to look a little better. I'll walk you through it in the next segment. But right now, Brian Campbell covers boxing and MMA for CBS Sports, also co-host of the Morning Combat podcast. You can find that anywhere you find podcasts, including Apple and Spotify. Had a nice piece earlier this week on Mike Tyson heading into tonight's big fight down at AT&T Stadium. And Brian Campbell, nice enough to join us now. Brian, it's GP. I appreciate you being here. Let's start with a simple question that might have a complicated answer. I was born in the late 70s. I was raised in the 80s. I grew up with Mike Tyson. He is a larger-than-life figure from my childhood. On one hand, I can't wait for tonight. On the other hand, I don't want to watch one of the big figures from my childhood at the age of 58 get beat up on a Friday night in the year 2024. A lot of eyeballs are going to be on this. How should we feel about it?
Exactly what you said. This is the ultimate brain pull fight because you got that side of your brain that's like a 58-year-old man fighting. I don't care what shape he's in. And that same side of your brain is the one that warns you and says, will this be a little bit more pro wrestling than real professional boxing? I don't know. Should I be watching this? What does this mean for the sport of boxing that this is being broadcasted to potentially 500, 700 million homes? But then there's the other half of the brain. And Gary, if we're about the same age, then we both came up the same time. Pro wrestling, Rocky movies, the romanticized version of what the fight game is. And when your eyes see Mike Tyson in this shape, saying the same sort of sound bites of old, getting in Jake Paul's face and slapping him at the weigh-in, and then you start to do the math that for as good of a boxer as Jake Paul is in the crossover YouTube sense, he's never beaten anybody who's a legitimate fighter, and the only time he came close to fighting one, he suffered the first loss of his career. Could Mike really do this? Well, Gary, that's the same debate going through my head. I feel like every other hour I'm, get this off my TV, I don't want to be affiliated with it, and then you come across a promotional interview or something associated with the fight, and you're like, man, imagine if Mike could pull this off. Get up off the couch, shake off decades of shame and disappointment from how his career ended, and knocked out the guy that's looked at as sort of a fake boxer, the pro wrestling heel. It's central casting. It's like a TV movie right there. It's at the end of the day, I say it like this. I don't know if there's going to be a train wreck, if Mike's going to be knocked out cold, or if these two are going to hug like it's a sparring session and we'll all say waste of money. But either way, even me, the professional boxing analyst, has to tune in and find out about it. I mean, it's Mike Tyson. Are you kidding me, GP?
I mean, we're treating it at our house like, not like the Super Bowl, but like we're ordering food and getting bottles, and like we're going to have a big thing tonight at the house. And before we get back to the fight, I thought your piece this week did a really great job of just sort of helping people who maybe aren't our age and didn't live through it understand how big of a deal Mike Tyson was and is. I've told this story before, not to you, but I was at a charity event in California one time, and I mean, stars everywhere. Magic Johnson over here, Joe Montana over there, Denzel Washington over there. The guy who shook the room when he walked in and had the stars going, "Oh, did you see Iron Mike's here?" It was Mike Tyson. He was the star of the place. And he wasn't just a famous boxer or even a famous athlete. He was a big part of American pop culture, one of the most famous people in the world for a while. And I think young people probably just know him from maybe a movie here or there or TMZ here or there. For people who didn't live through it, how big of a deal was Mike Tyson?
Bigger than any athlete I believe we've ever seen since then. And that concludes Tiger Woods, Tom Brady, Floyd Mayweather. I mean, insert whoever you want across the board. It wasn't just in the 80s. By the way, when he was competing for space in the sports culture world with Michael Jordan, Larry and Magic, Bo Jackson, who for, a year and a half was the biggest thing we've ever seen. Mike was bigger than all of them. He crossed over sports to pop culture and beyond, where when Jake Paul says this week, and I think he's right, he says, look, I'm fighting one of the two most famous boxers ever, along with Muhammad Ali. He's not crazy, and it's not just the destructive path of Mike's very short but very accomplished prime, the same 2.5-year window, which, by the way, got him elected to the Hall of Fame, even though the majority of the second half of Mike's career was a sham, was a shame, was tough to watch. But in that late 80s prime, forget about the Nintendo video game, forget about commercials. He really split the two dichotomies at once. On one hand, he was such a babyface, a phenomenon that you just wanted to tune in and see him fight no matter who it was. On the other hand, the more you get to know him, and obviously the more we got to know him in the 1990s and beyond, kind of a villain at the same time. So when he came out of jail in the 90s, you're not going to live it and remember it unless you were a teenager of how much this polarizing character was so beloved just to have him back in our lives, even though he was exiting jail for rape, right? It's always been like this with Mike Tyson. He can be the most ridiculous guy outside of the ring, but there's this endearing level to him. Maybe it's the self-reflectiveness he shows, which always belies what he does in the ring and how he acts. He's a very thoughtful man, and it's been easy to kind of cling on to that. But if you want to think back to the 80s of who he actually was, I really think he was the first reality TV star before that genre ever existed, because everything he did in the public eye was out of control, larger than life. I mean, do you remember him on the couch with Barbara Walters and his wife, Robin Givens, just getting verbally disrobed ahead of their very messy divorce, which actually led Mike to a suicide attempt that people forget about? He's lived the lives of 10 different people. So even though I'm very fearful of his age and him in this fight for all the reasons I think we all should be, I do have that part of my back of my brain that's like, if anyone can do this, it's actually Mike, because whatever he's going through at the time, he gives everything he has to it, whether that's boxing, whether that's drug abuse and going over that hill. I mean, he is full on extreme at all times. And maybe that's the enduring reason why we love him, whether you came into him as a comedic actor in The Hangover or a one-man show on Broadway, or you lived it back in the 80s and 90s like we did.
Just a couple more things for you, because I know you're busy today. I sat down last night I got young sons, and me and my wife and our young guys, we sat down and we watched all the Netflix lead-up documentaries on Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. We watched Mike Tyson, Michael Spinks, and that whole spectacle. And then I didn't want him to watch the Kevin McBride fight, but I did want him to see the post-fight interview in the ring, because I had watched it at some point recently, and it almost, like, I'm exaggerating here, but it like almost brought a tear to my eye, because here is beaten up Mike Tyson, and he's just defeated, and he just says, I don't have this in me anymore. I'm not a monster anymore. I can't do this anymore. I just needed to pay bills. That's why I'm here. I'm sorry to the fans, but this ain't me no more. And here we are all these years, 19 years later, and he's back in a ring. Why? Why did he go from that, this isn't me anymore, to I'm ready to do this again?
I think it's because at this point in his adult life, through all the wild up and downs, and don't forget, he was incarcerated in the 2000s, arrested many times, went through severe battles of depression and drug abuse. It was just sort of like, if anyone knows the twists and turns of Mike's life and career, it's him. He knows he gave away most of his professional career. You referenced the Spinks fight. He was 21 years old when he knocked out the unbeaten lineal heavyweight champion in Spinks, who just beat Larry Holmes twice before that, was on top of the world. We literally thought he would retire one day unbeaten as the best heavyweight of all time. He was that great at his short but incredible peak. But after that, it wasn't just going to prison. It wasn't just biting Evander Holyfield's ear off. He literally had a 5-7 year run on the back end of his career where he was only still in his early 30s, where it was a pay-per-view attraction for meltdowns, trying to break people's arms in the ring, constantly, looking to look for a way out in close fights. Mike knows better than all of us how shameful an exit from the sport he actually had. That's why for decades he always said, I'm never going to box again because I don't want to go back and reactivate that person inside me, the Iron Mike that I hate. I think we can understand that as we grow older as adults and look back on our lives. But I think something happened to him over the last decade, and you saw it lead up to that fight 4 years ago when he had that exhibition match against 49-year-old Roy Jones, where I think for Mike, that was the beginning of coming to terms with everything that's happened in his life and career. Look, he came up under Customato studying and worshiping Jack Dempsey and the heavyweights of old. Mike knows how great he could have been. I think him taking this fight with the real present danger, and don't forget, Mike was the one who pushed for it to be a real fight on the record, not an exhibition. I think for him, win, lose, or draw, and by the way, there's a lot of ways he can gain a moral victory here just by showing up and showing out. I think this is not about the money, not about the let me be a celebrity again, not about Netflix, not about 500 million households. It's about, for Mike, going back and repairing what he knows he damaged himself. Who can't, relate to that, whether it's lost love, a job you got fired from? We all have those regrets. I think for Mike, it's about he's finally healthy and whole as Mike can be. And this is really about him scratching that itch and doing something for himself.
Last thing before I let you go, it was roughly a quarter of a century ago. I covered, I guess, what would probably be considered Mike Tyson's last big fight, Tyson Lewis here in downtown Memphis. The thing I'll never forget about that is that, sort of like this week, those of us who grew up with Mike Tyson, man, really got worked up and talked ourselves into how this was going to really happen. And Iron Mike was back. And I remember every time I would talk to any of the actual boxing people like you, they would say, no, that's cute, but he's going to get hurt by Lennox Lewis. He can't win this fight. And then it unfolded the way it unfolded. Is this similar? We're getting excited. We're talking ourselves into it, but Jake Paul is the favorite in this fight.
Yeah, it's similar but different, but I get exactly what you're saying. The idea that we can watch video of Mike looking so great. We can talk about the sound bites and everything I just mentioned there. He's still a 58-year-old man going in there against the guy at 27 who's 6'1", 230 pounds, has a legitimate right hand, whether he's knocking out aging MMA veterans or celebrities or not. Can Mike be dangerous in this fight? Yeah, he can be dangerous. It's just for how long? That's the real question. How long will the referee and the state commission allow him to take punishment if it's a competitive fight? I want to bring up one thing. Evander Holyfield had a comeback fight, 2021, 58 years old on Triller, took a lot of money to fight Vitor Belfort, the former UFC champion who was 44. And the first punch Holyfield got hit by a jab. His legs went out. He got dropped. He never could regain his balance. Why? Because he's 58 years old, right? So we have to be realistic here. Mike's going to have 14-ounce gloves. He's going to be quick, early, and dangerous. Jake knows that. The one thing about Jake Paul, he is responsible in the ring. He's comfortable in there. He's not going to be overwhelmed. I love a romantic path to victory for Mike. I do tell you it's possible. But we also have to realize what we're really watching here. I think it's more about the journey for Mike, the fact that he got back to this point, the fact that he is turning all of these believers into viewers tonight. That does say something. When Mike says, I'm the only one who can make this fight happen, he's probably right. Jake's popular, But this fight is only what it is because of Mike. Let's enjoy that the best we can. If he does pull a miracle, it's like George Foreman and Michael Moore on steroids. I don't know what it really means, but it would mean that a beloved hero was able to close out on his own terms. Look, we're cheering for Mike. Got to be realistic, though.
That's Brian Campbell from CBS Sports, co-host of Morning Combat. You can find that anywhere you find podcasts, including Apple and Spotify. Read his piece on Mike Tyson. Got another one on John Jones at CBSSports.com right now. You're terrific, man. I appreciate your time. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right. That's Brian Campbell from CBS Sports. I can't wait for tonight, Bennett.
I can't wait for tonight either, man. And like I'm like now that it's here, like I've obviously talked myself into it, like oh Iron Mike, he's just got to land one, like it's. And then last night with the slap and everything, it's just it gets you fired up for it.
You wonder if, because I've heard different opinions on that. Obviously, he slapped Jake Paul yesterday at the weigh-in. I've heard some people say this is him, just like Brian just said, reactivating that menacing killer Iron Mike Tyson. I heard other people suggest he's just selling a fight. He's done this type of stuff before. He knows how to sell a fight. That sold the fight. That went viral.
Yeah.
I don't know what's what, but it did.
Oh, I'm in.
It generated more attention. Yeah. No, it'll be. I don't know if it'll be fun, but
I think it'll do. It'll do a massive number for Netflix.
Well, of course it is.
There's no doubt.
Of course
right?
it is.
Yeah. I mean, especially because it's free on Netflix. Right? Everybody's got Netflix. It's not some add-on that you have to pay for.
If you had to pay $59.99 for it, the audience would be a fraction of what it will be.
Right.
But tonight, I mean, you have Netflix. Everybody has Netflix.
Right.
And all you have to do is click, click, click. Boom. There it is right in front of you. It'll be a night. Fun Friday night.
Yeah.
I hope it. Obviously, I want to see Mike Tyson win. Not because I hate Jake.
I want to see it too.
Not because I hate Jake Paul.
It's a battle of generations.
It's a battle of generations.
It's a battle of generations.
It's a battle of generations. But
the old dudes need this one.
But my concern would be exactly what Brian said. He's 58 years old. And I don't care how much you train. You don't know what your body can do at 58 years old until you're in there doing it. I know Mike looks good in there with pads.
It's the best looking 58-year-old I've ever seen.
I will say this. At the weigh-in, he is lighter than he was for the Tyson Lewis fight. Lighter than he was for much of his career after that. And nearly the same weight he was when he was 21 years old fighting Michael Spinks. So that's a good sign.
Yeah.
He's not 20 pounds heavier than the last time we saw him in a ring.
Right.
He's pretty comparable in terms of the weight he's carrying around. But he's still 58 years old.
Man, when I saw the crotch grab, I was like, okay, he's serious. He's serious about this one. Maybe this ain't a joke like we all think it is.
I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I have seen smart boxing people.
Right.
Like just sort of say, we don't know it. We've never seen a 58-year-old Mike Tyson in a real boxing match, and we've never seen Jake Paul in a ring with a real boxer. There's too many variables here to have a great grasp for how this might go down. But for whatever it's worth, Jake Paul is about a minus 200, minus 190 favorite in the betting markets heading into things. When we come back, we'll turn our attention to the NBA. Grizzlies back in action tonight. Out in San Francisco is Grizz Warriors inside the Chase Center.
Let's go.
Injury report starting to look a little better.
Okay.
I'll run you through it next. Gary Parrish Show presented by Ortho South.
Somebody else we have not seen in a long time is Morant. Since you've seen him, does he look any different to you, or is this the same superstar Ja that we were used to?
He's always getting better, so you just got to watch out for that. That's.
And it's a revenge tour. It's a revenge tour, like the world's forgotten about me. And
I don't think they forgot.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
There's no greater gift in the NBA right now than the gift of Ja Morant highlights. The highlight of Ja Morant going reverse 360 generated 161 million views in the first 24 hours.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Can't wait. It's time to get it popping.
It's going to be crazy. The fans are going to be loud. We need just energy.
Behind, back to Jerry for the flush.
We're going to need, the Forum rocking. We're going to need, everybody in Memphis to be out there to come to support.
When the fans are good, we're good. Simple as that.
A Bane three. Yes, sir. Desmond Bane with ice water in his veins.
We'll ride the energy together.
Anticipate each challenge. Make a quick response. Capitalize on every opportunity and win. Greatness won't wait. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzlies stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. That's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays, in the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything. Especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now, I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
Your Memphis Grizzlies are back in
Yes,
action
they
tonight.
are.
Back in action tonight out in San Francisco. The building is called the Chase Center. The opponents are named the Golden State Warriors. There's a lot of stuff going on tonight.
Too much. I don't know how I'm going to be able to handle this. I've got my dual screen set up. I'm gonna have to bust out the laptop and all that good stuff because I got Grizzlies, I got Tigers, I got SmackDown's just gonna have to wait. SmackDown's gonna have to wait, bro.
Grizzlies,
yeah,
Warriors, Tigers, Ohio, SmackDown, Alabama, Purdue,
Tyson,
There's a lot going on.
Too much.
I wish we could spread this out a little bit.
Well, we can. So Tigers play at 7, Grizzlies play at 9. Tyson Paul's not going to be till 9, right?
Later, probably. Those things tend to go later.
Okay, so I can work with it.
We'll get through it.
Yeah.
We'll get through it. It'll be challenging.
Yeah.
But we'll get through it. Grizzlies, Warriors, 9 o'clock. It's a national televised game. You can see it on ESPN if you want to. Golden State 7.5-point favorite. 235.5 is the total. Injury report starting to look a little better.
It looks good. I saw that Desmond Bane last night. I was like, huh?
There's still some outs I don't like. I don't like seeing John Morant out and Gigi Jackson out. But life's not perfect. But we're done with the doubtfuls. No more doubtfuls. We only have some questionables. Desmond Bane, questionable. Brandon Clark, questionable. Vince Williams, questionable. Do you think in theory, those could be 3 starters tonight? I don't think they will be, but they could be. We're going to see Desmond Bane, Brandon Clark, Vince Williams in the game tonight.
I bet we see 2 of those guys at
Which
least.
2?
Dez is surprising to me because that just kind of came out of nowhere. Like, we didn't even see a doubtful designation for him.
He jumped from out to questionable. That's a skip pass.
Yeah, so if I was willing to bet, I might say that he still might not go tonight. I would say he's the one that's out and the other 2 play. Vince and Brandon, if I was guessing. But I don't know.
We're always just guessing.
Yeah.
Everybody's just guessing when it comes to injury reports, but that's encouraging.
It's very encouraging.
I didn't expect to see
I told you the NBA Cup just means more,
I
dude.
didn't expect to see Desmond Bane questionable heading into tonight's game in San Francisco, but I'm glad that he is. On John Morant, DeMichael Cole had an interesting story.
I saw it.
Commercialappeal.com, talking to a specialist who deals with these types of injuries, the hip injury that Ja is dealing with. A few interesting things in there. One is that it's a very, and we've known this, but it's a very rare sports injury. It's not something that happens in sports normally, what Ja is dealing with right now. And it's very painful. And if you're wondering why he's on crutches, it's to alleviate any pressure whatsoever from that area. He's dealing with, it's a pain issue as well. The doctor explained to DeMichael where you would normally see this exact type of injury is in a car accident.
Wow.
This is not a normal basketball injury. It's a normal car accident injury. And when asked for a prognosis, the question is as simple as, when will we see Ja Morant on the court again? The doctor says, obviously, I'm not sure. He's not treating Ja Morant. But based on what he's seen, based on his experience treating similar injuries, based on what he knows about basketball, he put it at 3 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
3 to 6 weeks from the date of the injury, which doesn't really line up with week to week. Because what week to week, and that's the official diagnosis, Ja Morant is out week to week. Week to week means it could be next week. But what this doctor is saying, it's not going to be.
It's not going to be next week. All right.
He said it could be 3 weeks or 6, but he would think somewhere in there. If you're curious, if it's 3 weeks from the date of the injury, that would be November 27th. And that would mean Ja would miss 6 more games and return against Detroit on November 27th.
Okay.
If it's 6 weeks, that pushes you all the way to December 18th. And that would have Ja missing 13 more games and returning against Golden State on 12-19. So let's hope it's 3 instead of 6.
Yeah, I hope so too. I mean, obviously they are. This roster has been set up to be able to compete, and we've seen it without him. And I really hope that they can get these next 3 are just. I mean, it's like they're in a gauntlet right now with that Lakers game, the Warriors, and then Denver twice. They're playing the best teams in the West.
It's just consecutive games against quality teams with MVPs on them.
Yeah, so. Hopefully they can, get this one right. That's the other thing too, is we didn't get to enjoy the damn cup last year. We didn't win a damn game in the cup last year. I don't think.
Struggled in the cup.
Yeah,
struggled everywhere. But
I want to be a part of the cup,
including. I would like to get cup fever.
I want cup fever.
I remember they got cup fever in Indianapolis last year.
Exactly. I want cup fever.
How does Indianapolis get to have cup fever and Caitlin fever, and we're just down here looking at injury reports all the time?
Yeah, man. If we could find a way tonight to get the Warriors in group play, and then I don't know when our next cup game is, but I bet it's here, and see our new court. I think the vibes would be amazing.
We done lost our 901 FC. How much more can we take?
We can't. That's what I'm saying, dude.
How much more can we take?
We need cup fever more than ever.
I would like to catch cup fever.
Yeah.
I'd like to walk in here one day and you'd say, GP, you look a little warm. What's going on? And I'd say, Bennett, I've been diagnosed with cup fever.
It's cup day.
I would like to get cup fever.
Yeah.
But the only way you can get cup fever is winning cup games.
Yes.
I know the cup ain't been around so long, and I don't consider myself a cup historian.
Mm-hmm.
But based on my experiences, the only way to get cup fever is to win cup games.
Yeah. Starts tonight.
It starts tonight out in San Francisco.
We don't like them.
Yeah.
We don't like those Warriors.
Don't worry, Klay Thompson. We got your back.
Do we? I don't know. I don't like him either.
We got your back. Stop. They pushed you out of San Francisco.
Absolutely not.
They gave you a 90-second tribute video. Tyus Jones got a better tribute video from the Grizzlies. We got your back, Klay Thompson. We're going to San Francisco tonight with a better than normal injury report. I predict an upset.
Oh.
Tonight's the night where the world gets back to being what the world should be. Grizzlies win. Mike Tyson wins.
They need to be humbled, too. Those Warriors need to be humbled.
They treated Klay. They didn't treat Klay the right way.
They need to be humbled tonight.
They need to be humbled.
Yeah.
They're a little too proud of themselves.
They really are.
They need to be humbled.
Even
a little
Steph,
bit.
the yelling at the camera when he, What did he say about Klay?
I
actually loved it. It was amazing.
I think he called him a B word.
He's like, you don't want to be here. You don't want to be here. I liked that.
I don't know.
None of that tonight.
None of that tonight.
Mm-mm.
None of that. No night tonight, Steph. No night tonight.
Number 2.
Hey, meantime, Memphis Tigers.
Yeah.
Memphis Grizzlies be out in California. Memphis Tigers, they'll be inside FedExForum.
Yes.
Ohio's in town. The Bobcats.
Okay, so I think that like when we were talking about this game, when the season started and we were looking at the first 5 or so games, this was one of those like, ooh, be careful because Ohio, they're like one of the teams that's projected to finish high in their conference
and they
this
are.
year.
That was all true. But they're not off to a great start.
Bad start. Yeah,
they were picked to win their league, the MAC. But they're now 1-2, and they've already lost 2 games to teams that are ranked lower than them at KenPom. Ohio started the season 118th at KenPom. They're already down to 162, and they've lost to James Madison, which is 178, and Illinois State, which is 188. Both of those were road games. So Ohio 1-2, but 0-2 on the road against sub-100 KenPom teams. Memphis is currently 38th at KenPom. And that is why Memphis is projected to win the game by 15 points at KenPom. Okay. And in the betting markets, 12.5-point favorite. Hey, just because everybody's going to be distracted by Mike Tyson, Jake Paul, Grizzlies, Warriors, don't screw this up.
No. I know.
We want to care.
Yeah, you can't lose this one.
We're starting to – I don't have cup fever yet.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm starting to get? Haggerty fever.
I've got tiger fever.
I
always have tiger fever.
I'm starting to get Haggerty fever. All right.
Yeah, you can't. I think that like to your point, this team that's coming in here, you see that record and everything, and you're like, oh, they're gonna destroy this team. They're still, like you said, projected to be good in their conference, so don't mess around.
Don't mess around.
Yeah.
I'm starting to catch Haggerty fever. He's averaging 27 points per game.
That's insane.
He's a big
He's been awesome.
I'm telling you, he is a couple of more wins and then
Maui, yeah.
Go get 31 against UConn, upset the reigning back-to-back champs in Maui, and now people are talking about, is PJ Haggerty an All-American? That's where we'll get pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Right now, nobody knows he's averaging 27 points per game except for me and you.
Right.
We are the only people on the planet who are aware of this, all right?
Right.
Nobody else knows this. Rob Doster does not know this. Jeff Borzello does not know this. Matt Norlander does not know this. John Rothstein does not know this.
John Rothstein knows.
He probably does.
He literally knows everything about every team in America.
I could probably say, John, do you know PJ Haggerty's averaging 27 points? And he would say, yeah, and he's doing it despite shooting just 16.7% from 3. But what's also interesting is Dane Jane just coming, giving you 20. I'd be like, all right, John, I was just
joking,
relax.
dude.
Just relax. John probably does know.
Yes.
So it's probably me, you, and John.
Yes.
Only people who know PJ Haggerty is averaging 27 points because this is happening off of the national radar, all right? But stay undefeated, go to Maui, and then take a shot at the champs and go big, and then everybody will know who you are. Right now, nobody even knows who he is, much less that he's averaging 27 points per game. But you can change that. You can't change it tonight because this is a off-the-radar bye game. But you can change it in Maui. And if you're going to change it in Maui, it'd be nice to take a 0 in the loss column all the way to the island. Tigers and Ohio tonight inside FedExForum. Memphis, 12.5-point favorite.
Number 3.
Congratulations to Conan O'Brien. He has been named the next host of your Oscars, replacing Jimmy Kimmel, who had handled hosting duties the past couple of years. You okay with this? You sign off on Conan O'Brien?
Yeah.
Do you find yourself a Conan? Do you like Conan O'Brien?
Yeah, I haven't it's funny. Like I used to watch his late night show before the whole thing with
the Tonight Show.
With the Tonight Show, I watched Conan all the time. His show that came on after Leno, because one thing that was cool. Then this was pre social media and us just having access to everything whenever we wanted it. Conan always had awesome bands. Like, he always had good acts perform on his show, and that was, like, a thing.
Because they loved him. Like, he'd have the white stripes on for the whole week.
Yeah, and so I always remember tuning in because it was like, oh, they're playing on Conan tonight?
Because he's into music. He's not just like Jay Leno is, like, probably listening to
whatever
Led Zeppelin.
Sure.
Right? But Conan O'Brien would be into new music and alternative bands and indie bands, and he's the type that would say, let's put Jack and Meg White on TV 5 nights this week.
Yeah, and I think he's funny. I haven't been as plugged in lately, but I think it's a really good choice. You couldn't do Kimmel again, and here's why.
It's too political.
Trump won the election, and he's Trump's biggest adversary in that world. And the Oscars, the ratings have not been great. As you just can't bring him back. You just can't. And so this makes sense. I think this makes sense. And I don't think Conan's ever done one of these.
I don't think he's done the Oscars. I don't know that he's
hosted an award show.
But he's done variety shows and like he did stuff. I don't know if it was technically on Broadway, but like live shows, like Broadway shows.
Yeah.
So he's a performer. He's a performer. He could do this.
I think he could do it too. I'm excited about this. When I saw that today, I was like, he'll be good at that.
He's just sort of quirky, funny.
Yeah.
He's not like other people who have hosted big events like this. Like Ricky Gervais is sort of cutting funny. And then there's like the Jimmy Fallons who are just sort of like
silly, goofy,
just knee slapping. That's for everybody type of stuff.
Yeah.
And then Conan's like, you either think he's hilarious or you go, I don't know what's going on with this guy.
Yeah, I agree.
It's
with
one
that.
of those, right?
Yeah.
I always found him hilarious.
I did too.
I know he's not for everybody. That's why the Tonight Show did not work. Like they lots of fascinating articles. He tried to do.
Mamaw didn't understand.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're as weird as this might sound. Your audience at 12:30 Eastern, from 12 is a vastly different audience than your audience at 11:30 Eastern.
Right.
Grandma goes to bed with the Tonight Show on and Jay Leno at 10:30. That's the way that always was. And then Grandma falls asleep. Mm-hmm. And so do I. Mm-hmm. And then who's up really watching TV at 12:30 at night? Younger people, probably drunk and high. Mm-hmm. So Conan O'Brien worked there, and then he tried to take that show and do it an hour earlier. And I remember reading they came to him, they were like, "This is not working." Mm-hmm. And he was like, "I know what I'm doing." And I was like, "Yeah, you know what you're doing at 12:30, but this is 11. This is different. You're talking to different people." Mm-hmm. It's like he said, "I'll do the same show, but you can't have the same audience."
Right.
It'd be like if I woke up today, and today's not a good day because I think you could talk about Mike Tyson and Jake Paul anywhere. But if I woke up today to do a Grizzlies show, but suddenly I'm not doing it in Memphis, I'm doing it in Sacramento. It'd be like, well, you can't do this show in Sacramento. Mm-hmm. You need to do a different show in Sacramento. That's a little bit like what he didn't quite grasp quickly enough.
Sure.
You can't do, just because you were doing a show you like and that was successful, your audience is different now and you can't do that show anymore. And he didn't change in time and he lost that show. But he's recovered okay. I mean, you'll never bounce back to host the next Today Show or whatever the equivalent is, but he seems to be doing okay. Got a podcast and he seems to be doing all right.
Are you going to be ready for the Oscars this year? Like, you're going to do your research?
I say I am every year, and I never do. Every year, I start making a list of these are the movies I need to watch.
Yeah.
And I even plan it out okay, the nominations are out.
Yeah. There's
10 Best Picture nominees, or however many they do. Okay, if I watch one a week for the next 10 weeks, I'll have them all knocked out. Mm-hmm. And I'm on a plane twice a week every week.
Yeah.
So why can't I do this? And then I never do it. I mean, never have never done it.
So they're saying the early returns suggest that that Wicked is going to probably have a good chance to get nominated for Best Picture. That's the big movie coming.
With Ariana Grande?
Yeah, because it's a Broadway show turned into a feature that typically, if it's good and it gets good reviews, that's a good sign that a movie's going to be nominated. And Gladiator 2 comes out the same day. They're saying that one's got a chance to, possibly. So you get some big budget movies nominated for Best Picture this year.
Well, I'll put them on the list, Ben, and I don't know if I ever get to them, but I'll put them on the list.
Okay.
I'm going to try. I'll do my best. How about you? How about you try to hold me accountable?
I will.
Can you be
I'll be checking in.
Like my sponsor? Like if this were AA?
I'll be checking in every
year.
Check
in with me a little bit and hold me accountable?
It got more difficult when it went to 10 nominees, but every year I watch every single Best Picture nominee.
I want to do that with you.
Yeah.
I want to do that with you so that we can experience it together and discuss it together.
Sounds great.
So I need you to hold me accountable.
Okay.
I need you every once in a while. Just send me a text every once in a while. You can even put it in our group text with me, you, and Jess that we have.
Okay. Because she does the same.
I would like to be included in that.
You want to be included in that?
I just would like to.
You're going to have to go to the movie theater.
No.
Yeah, buddy.
I don't want to do all that.
Sometimes, typically, there's one or two movies that is still in theaters when the Oscars roll around.
Now you might be asking too much.
I'm just saying.
All right.
I'm just saying.
But I didn't know.
Get started early this
Before
year.
I started trying to get committed to this, I didn't know I was going to have to go somewhere.
You might have to go to the movies once.
I thought I could just sit at my desk.
You will for most of them, but you might have to go to the movies for like a movie.
Every once in a while, I'm going to need a text, though, like a little nudge. Be like, GP,
hey, guys.
Are you watching your movies?
Look what's out
Have you
today.
watched? Yeah. I'm going to need some nudges.
Okay.
And some direction, but I would like to be involved.
Got you.
All right, let's work on that.
Okay.
Number 4.
The Juan Soto sweepstakes is intensifying.
What's going on?
He met with the Boston Red Sox for 3 hours yesterday.
Okay.
He met with the Red Sox.
All right.
He had 3 questions for the Red Sox, reportedly. You want to know what they were?
Yeah. Are you going to ever be good again?
That was actually one of the questions.
Yeah.
Like, how committed are you to winning?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you just in here to...
They suck.
Are you just in here to trick your fans into thinking you care about baseball again?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you going to... Like, you could sign me, but who am I going to be working with? Because I know who I'll be working with the Yankees, and I know who I'll be working with the Mets, but who am I going to be working with here? Because you guys ain't been good in a minute, and you ain't even been trying.
Mm-mm.
You let Mookie Betts go to Los Angeles. I could be teammates with Mookie Betts, but you let him go to Los Angeles.
Unserious franchise.
That's what Juan Soto was trying to figure out. He also said, hey, how do you go about evaluating players? Like what do you look for? Like, I want to know your thought process, because everybody wants me. That's easy. But how do you determine who you want when it's not as obvious that they're special as me? Fair question.
Fair.
And then he said, yeah, what are we doing with facilities? I need to see your facilities, and because Fenway Park is the oldest park in Major League Baseball.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And it's a cool place to be. If you've ever been to Wrigley, ever been to...
I've never been.
Fenway?
To either.
Been to both. And they're awesome. The experience is, you just walking in, it's just like, man, this is it. This is it. This is what it's supposed to be like. This is what I've been watching on TV my whole life. They're both great. But they're also old.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you feel like you're in an old house.
Yeah.
It's like you go to the new nice, go to Citi Field and then go to Fenway. Go to Citi Field and then go to Wrigley. Wrigley has character and history, and Fenway the same. But when you are in there, once you get past the, wow, this is amazing. You're at Wrigley, there's the ivy. You're at Fenway, there's the monster. Once you get past that stuff, you know what you realize? My feet are scrunched up. Why are these seats so close together?
Yeah.
I can't move. Where's my drink holder?
I mean, won't they both get to the point where you just have to build a new stadium at some point? Yankee Stadium was Yankee Stadium,
I know.
and they had to rebuild it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Yankee Stadium, they tore it down.
Yeah.
Which is like always my argument against the Coliseum when people act like it's crazy to tear it down. I'm like, they tore down Yankee Stadium. We can tear down Mid-South Coliseum. Like, stop being silly. All right?
It's so true.
It's like they tore down Yankee Stadium.
Yeah. What are we doing?
Like, Babe Ruth played there. Like, you know.
Yeah, man.
Stan Stamenkovich played at the Mid-South Coliseum. Babe Ruth played at Yankee Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
If they tore down Yankee Stadium, we could tear down the Mid-South Coliseum.
Yes, we absolutely could.
You people need to relax. I don't know if they ever will, because, you know, you can keep going in and improving this and improving that, but still, it's going to still be old.
Right.
I guess maybe one day they will, in the pursuit of more revenue and all of that, because both those places are pretty small. But that was one of Soto's concerns. Obviously, he's not concerned with how the seats are for the fans, but he wants to know what the clubhouse is going to be like and practice facilities, all that stuff. You know, just asking all the questions you should ask. At this point, man, the Yankees are in a fight. Can you imagine? Right now, it looks like if you lose Juan Soto, you will either lose him to your in-city rival or your division rival.
Yikes.
Either way, we told you earlier in the week, he's expected to get around $600 million, around $50 million a year. And obviously, the more big market teams you get involved in it, the higher that bidding goes. But if you're the Red Sox, I really do think they need to do something like this to show their fans they're serious again.
I do too.
Because moving Mookie Betts because you didn't want to pay him that's a forever mistake.
Yeah.
That's a forever mistake.
And the Yankees are the Yankees, but like the Orioles have been better than you. Like if you're a Boston fan, that pisses you off. It's not the Yankees that pisses you off. It's the Orioles being so awesome.
And I honestly, for me, it would be that you're not acting like the big market franchise you should act like.
Right.
You should not be getting outspent that dramatically by the Yankees and the Mets and the Dodgers. You're supposed to be the Yankees and the Mets and the Dodgers. Act like it.
Yeah.
And going out and putting a big offer on the table for Soto, that's at least them acting like it.
Yeah.
So.
Number 5.
Biggest college football game of the weekend. It's going to happen down in Athens. Tennessee and Georgia.
Okay.
Tennessee's quarterback is questionable. So the line has jumped to Georgia minus 9.5. Total's 47.5. The truth is, it's a big game for both teams, but it's bigger for Georgia.
Yeah, because you're done if you lose. You're not getting in the playoff if you lose.
I don't think so. Right now,
it's a home game for them too.
That's right. Home game. Other team's quarterback's questionable. You're nearly a 10-point favorite. They were 12th in the college football playoff rankings when they updated on Tuesday, but that does not get you into the bracket because you've got to take the Boise State Group of 5 champ, and because you got to take the 4 highest ranked conference champions. So Boise State jumps into the bracket, pushes Georgia out. So Georgia's out of the bracket now as a 2-loss team. If you go from a 2-loss team to a 3-loss team with the 3rd loss coming at home to Tennessee, you're done. You're done.
And that'd be crazy because like that, I think that team has as good of a chance to win a championship as anybody. And if they're not, and it'd just be so crazy for them to not get in. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like that's a team that could win a national championship and they have a chance of not making it.
Oh yeah, sure. They're good enough to do it and might not get there.
Right.
They're good enough to do it, but might not get there. And that just speaks to the depth and the difficulty of trying to navigate, an SEC schedule, particularly when you also add a game non-league that is complicated. So, barring a surprise, here's what happens this weekend: Georgia beats Tennessee, however that happens, and then the college football playoff rankings update on next Tuesday, and you could have 4 actually, 2-loss SEC teams in the projected bracket. Now, Georgia winning and going into the bracket could knock, say, Ole Miss out maybe, or even Alabama out. But right now, Tennessee's in the bracket as a 1-loss team. If they lose at Georgia, they'd be a 2-loss team. If they stayed in the bracket, they'd be a 2-loss team in the bracket. Alabama is a 2-loss team in the bracket. Ole Miss is a 2-loss team in the bracket. And Georgia would be a 2-loss team jumping into the bracket. So you could have 4 2-loss SEC teams in the 12-team bracket, and that doesn't even account for Texas sitting there as the projected conference champion at this point. So the league is strong.
Yeah.
Big game this weekend, but if you're a Tennessee fan, you want to win it, but understand this is much bigger for Georgia than it is for you. Tennessee can lose this game and still find a practical path to the college football playoff. I don't think Georgia can lose this game and find a practical path to the college football playoff. We'll be back. GP's Carryout.
Goldberg announces he's going to have a retirement match in 2025, and he said this on College Game Day.
We know you're trying to ride the coattails because the 2025 is supposed to be the year of John Cena. Goldberg, I have a message for you, my guy. We don't care about your retirement match. Your retirement match was 3 years ago. Go somewhere, go away.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
It's the top 5 worst teams in the NFL. I think the Panthers are the worst team in the NFL.
I got the Saints number 1. Ha ha ha! Let's put the Aints up there. They're terrible.
I'll take the Titans as my worst team in the NFL. If they played Will Levis, they're for sure the worst team. Maybe in NFL history. Might be worse than the 0-16 Lions if they play Will Levis.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data a race.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Justin Timberlake. I'm bringing sexy back. The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedExForum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at LiveNation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now. For more, hit up JustinTimberlake.com.
Welcome back. Gary Parrish Show presented by Ortho South. Let's wrap this thing up with GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
Whole bunch of stuff, but can I hit you with a story we didn't discuss that
What's up?
I saw pop across Twitter this morning? So apparently Topps has created a Paul Skeens card.
Okay.
It's one of one. And it's his rookie debut patch autograph card.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, when he made his first big league start for the Pirates, there was a patch on his jersey that said MLB debut. That's been cut out of the uniform, placed on a card, picture of him, he's autographed it, and it's one of one. There's one of these. And there's 2024 Topps Chrome cards that are available in packs starting 2 days ago. And this card is going to be in one of these packs.
Okay.
So somebody somewhere is going to open a pack of cards and they're going to see this. So the Pirates this morning, they jump on social media and they said, hey, we want this card. We want to have it at PNC Park. We want to have it on display for all Pirates fans. So if you happen to open a pack and find this card, if you become the owner of this card, we will make you an offer for the card.
Okay.
Here's the offer. 2 Pirates season tickets behind home plate for the next 30 years. A softball game for 30 at PNC Park with coaching from Pirates alumni. In other words, you want to get 20 of your best friends and go have a softball game or a wiffle ball game at the Pirates Stadium. You can do that. And like Andy Van Slyke might be there to help coach your team as a Pirates legend.
Yep.
You get to go to spring training with the Pirates, private tour of the facility, meet and greet with Paul Skeens, 2 Paul Skeens autographed jerseys, get to take batting practice, warm up with the team, and other various little treats.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think that it's sounds good in theory. I would never do that because, well, first off, the person that gets the card is very unlikely to be a Pirates fan.
That's the thing. That's the problem.
Yeah.
The person who gets the card could be living in Collierville.
Yeah, so that's dumb. That's dumb, first off. Second off, that card might be worth more than all that.
Right.
First off, the Pittsburgh Pirates are never good, and maybe they will get good now that they have him and they build around him. We'll see, but they're never good, so those tickets ain't going to be as valuable as they sound when you say you're getting 2 front row seats behind the dugout.
I hear you, but still, like, if somebody said you can have courtside seats to Grizzlies games for the next 30 years, that's I mean, put a number on that. How much is that worth? 2 courtside seats Grizzly game for 33 years.
There must be
millions of dollars.
It's got to be so much money that there's got to be some. They must not be allowed to just pay for the card from somebody. That's why they're doing this. Because
I think they can buy anything they want.
I was gonna say, like, the value of those tickets that you're giving somebody why wouldn't you just pay them that money? Because then some. I'm like, tell me what the value is of those season tickets for 30 years, and give me that money. I might give you the card.
Yeah, I'm just gonna need to. To me, it's all like we can sit here and go back and forth on it.
Yeah.
I don't have any idea what I would do, except I would call somebody who knows what to do.
Yeah.
And I would say,
I'd call Roser.
How much is this card? I'd probably call Roser.
Yeah.
I'd say, first question, how much is this card worth right now? And I'd say, okay, if Paul Skeens goes down as a Hall of Fame pitcher, how much will this card be worth in 20 years? And I'd get those numbers in my head, and then I'd call the Pirates, and I'd say, this is what I need.
What's the box called again?
It's Topps
Chrome.
The actual, it's the Topps Chrome something, whatever.
I might buy one.
Okay, bet it.
Dude, that's gonna be worth a lot of money.
It is 2024 Topps Chrome.
That's one.
Where do you think you even get
one jersey patch autograph?
Where do you even think you get a box of?
I'll ask Roser.
Roser would know all this stuff.
He knows all this stuff. He knows more about cards than anybody.
Maybe we should just talk to Roser about this. All right. But if I happen to get the card, we'll be in negotiations with the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah.
And
we can talk.
And as long as you're creating a package, maybe throw some Livy Dunn in there.
Yeah. Can she have one of the season tickets?
Yeah, I get to sell her. I get 2 season tickets to Pirates game. This is what the Pirates should do. If you get the Paul Skeens card, call us. We'll give you 2 seats right behind home plate for the next 30 years. But don't worry, you don't have to bring anybody. Livy will sit next to you. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Now you got my ears perked up.
Yeah.
Now you're making me consider some stuff. I don't think they thought it through. Maybe throw Livy Dunn in there. Maybe with permission from Livy Dunn, of course.
Oh yeah.
With permission.
That goes without saying.
That goes without. I hope that goes without saying.
What's today's
Get out of that, please. Get out of it. Next.
What's today's biggest game? It's not a game. It's a fight.
Oh, it's the fight.
It's not a game. It's a fight.
Don't do this.
Iron Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. AT&T Stadium down in Texas.
Man, I freaking lost last night, too.
You did. The book, Saquon did you in, buddy.
That pissed me off.
Saquon. He just kept running for touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be like, and if they could stop Saquon, and he would just run right past everybody.
I was playing against him in fantasy.
And then they'd be like,
usual.
well, if they can just stop Saquon, and then he'd just run again.
Yeah.
Touchdown.
Every week I play against the leading scorer in fantasy football. It never freaking fails.
Never fails. Mike Tyson, Jake Paul. The book's supposed to close a little after 9 o'clock. Right now, Jake Paul is minus 275.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best indicator of how this will likely go. They've made Jake Paul minus 275.
Yeah.
Favorite. You want Mike Tyson? You get him at plus 210. How you gonna act?
Well, I'm not. I will take Jake Paul. Now, will I take my own advice tonight, like when the fight's about to start? Absolutely not. But I need to.
You need to win.
I need to win, so I'll take Jake Paul.
You realize you're gonna lose, like the equivalent of nearly 3 bets.
Yeah.
By laying minus 275 with Jake Paul.
I know.
You know what you're doing.
But I mean, dude, the writing's on the wall.
I don't know.
It keeps moving too in his favor.
It's not good.
Because last night I think it was like something around plus 160, 180 for Tyson. So it's moving in the wrong direction.
Not great. I don't love it.
What do we? Is it funny business? No. It's a 58-year-old man.
Here's my. I preface everything I'm about to say by saying I don't know. I don't know what to expect. It is true Mike Tyson throws big punches, and if he lands one of them, it will hurt. My guess, if I'm just guessing, my guess is we're going to turn this on tonight. Mm-hmm. We're going to get very excited when Mike's walking to the ring because he's going to look the right way. And then we're going to get very excited when he's in the ring. And we're going to get very excited when they say, and the former undisputed, undefeated, all that stuff. And we're going to be like, let's go. Mm-hmm. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's going to get tired.
Yeah.
And we're going to go, yeah, this is what 58-year-old against a 27-year-old looks like, I guess.
Right.
That's what I fear.
That's what I fear, too.
That's what I fear. That's my fear.
Yeah, I'll stick with Jake.
Bennett says lay the 275 with Jake Paul. Hey, by the way, don't just wait for Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. The last undercard match, Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor, is supposed to be amazing. Too.
Okay.
They had a war.
Okay.
This is World War II between them. They've already had World War I.
Wait, I think I actually saw World War I.
It's fight of the year.
I think I actually saw that one.
It's fight of the year, Bennett.
Okay, I'm in. I'm in.
Yeah. So just give the women their due. Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor will be in the ring, followed by Mike Tyson and Jake Paul.
What are we watching on TV?
So last night, I told you we watched all the Netflix documentaries on Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. 3-part docuseries on Netflix. We knocked it out. Easy watch. Got the kids excited. Good night at home. After that, my Netflix algorithm took me right to something I didn't even know that this existed. And it took us right to it. I looked over at the person I'm married to, and I said, you want to watch this? And she was like, yeah. So we started watching this. And I'll be honest, I fell asleep because, sometimes I get sleepy.
Yeah.
But it seemed compelling. It was called The Return of the King, The Fall and Rise of Elvis Presley. Did you even know this was it?
No.
It's on Netflix now. Came out Wednesday.
Huh. I haven't heard anything about it.
Return of the King, The Fall and Rise of Elvis Presley. It's a 91-minute film, so it's easy, digestible. 91 minutes, man. We could do 91 minutes. It examines the 1968 comeback special. And
I have it on Blu-ray.
I have it in my DVR. I have it like I could go at any point and be like, I could turn on the Elvis 68 special right now.
Actually, I think it's a DVD, but whatever.
Whatever. We both have it in different ways. So it's got Priscilla talking. She's heavily featured. Bruce Springsteen, heavily featured. It was late. So, full disclosure, things were a little blurry.
I got you.
But I remember it being interesting. I remember going, I think I'm enjoying this. You want to check it out?
I will check it out, actually.
Return of the King. It was considered the 1968 special. This is make or break it.
And it made it.
Made it.
It's one of the most famous specials ever. I loved it. Love it still.
And the thing I didn't realize is when he came out and first took the stage, he was very nervous.
Oh, yeah.
And uncomfortable. And like it didn't look like, it didn't look like it was going to go well. And then he just turned it on.
Yeah,
and became Elvis Presley. Anyway, I thought it was interesting. I was glad to see it. It's on Netflix. Okay. Just dropped this week. Return of the King, The Fall and Rise of Elvis Presley.
What's the best thing we've read?
Told you Brian Campbell had a really nice piece on Mike Tyson earlier in the week, just sort of detailing the rise and fall of Mike Tyson. As long as we're talking about rises and falls. You can find it at CBSSports.com or on his X feed at B Campbell. At B Campbell. It was really well done. That's among the reasons I wanted to get him on to talk about this. Appreciate him being here earlier in the show. Go read his work, CBSSports.com.
What's on tap next week?
Man, next week, we got a lot going on, Bennett. There's a lot going on. Just think about Monday. Just think about how much fun we're going to have on Monday.
Yep.
Be looking back at Grizz Warriors, looking back at Grizz Nuggets, looking back at Memphis, Ohio, looking back at Memphis UAB.
Now the Battle of the Bones is this weekend.
Battle of the Bones. Looking back at Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. Michael Eads will be here on Monday.
Monday'd be big.
We got a lot to do.
We got a big show on Monday.
We're going to need all 2 hours on Monday,
yes,
buddy.
we are.
We're going to need 5 breaks and all 2 hours on
damn
Monday.
right.
Can't wait. Enjoy your weekend. I'll enjoy mine. We'll meet back here Monday at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.